That was fun. It was as much fun watching it as it was doing it.
I had a lot of fun that day. That was really cool. Thanks again to all the folks who stopped by and talked to us. We really appreciate you just do on your way to class, and then all of a sudden you're talking about hypnosis.
On camera.
Yes, with us. So once again, thank you very much.
You know, it's funny because it was great that Emmanuel was talking about how strong-minded he was, and that because he was strong-minded, he actually thought he couldn't go into trance. And it's really just the opposite. Usually strong-minded people and really creative people actually go into trance a lot easier.
That is one of the myths we hear quite often in this field of work. There's a lot of myths out there that people have seen either from television or from those, stage shows that can be quite entertaining. And they bring these myths forward and think that things like Emmanuel thought.
Like, what else? What's another really good myth? I know I Love Lucy and all those shows. Dick Van Dyke, I don't know if people can even remember those shows, but yeah, Dick Van Dyke, the bell rings or the phone rings and they start stumbling around and acting as if they were drunk. And I know people actually believe that stuff when they come into like for a session. They actually think the bell's going to go off or the phone's going to ring and they're going to start walking around my office quacking like a duck, which would be pretty amusing, but it's never happened to me. Has it happened to you?
No, it's never happened to me. And I was explaining a little bit there with Andreas about how people believe that because they see the stage show.
Right.
And at that time, the extroverted personality who really wants to be up on stage is responsive or suggestible to the hypnotist's suggestions about doing things like that. Every time the bell is going to go off, you're going to drop on the floor and do push-ups or something like that. And it's only because they have an emotionalized desire to fulfill the suggestion. If they don't feel like doing that, they're not going to do it. So if I have a client in my office and they have a really emotionalized desire to stop smoking, and so I program something like every time you think about a cigarette, then you automatically procrastinate and don't go have the cigarette.
So it's a good thing. Procrastination can come in pretty handy.
It can come in handy, and then they can use that thing that they see that's really dramatic about, like, the bell rings and then I do push-ups. You can use it for your own benefit, but only if you have the desire to do so. I have people call me sometimes, Mitch, I think this is so funny, that say things like, I need to quit smoking. Can you hypnotize me to do that? And I'd say, sure. And I ask them a few questions like, how motivated are you to quit smoking? Oh, I don't want to quit smoking, but I just need to. And I say,
I need you to make me quit smoking.
Right. I'm like, I can't do that. It's a desire. You have to have the desire and the motivation within. I've even had people call me and say, can you make my husband stop smoking? And I say, does your husband want to stop smoking? And they say no. And then I say, I'm sorry, if I could do this and you would do what I want, I'd be a millionaire, and my daughter's room would be clean all the time.
Right. And no, if we could, because that brings up a good point. People think we're brainwashing. Oh, hypnosis is all about brainwashing, and if that really was the case, first of all, we'd be billionaires, and we'd be able to make anybody do anything, which isn't really the case. I know I've had people actually ask me, "Well, can you hypnotize me so that I want to quit smoking?" I'm like, no, you have to want to quit smoking first, and then it's very effective.
Very effective. There was something there that you said that rang a little bell. We were talking about bells. It kind of rang a bell there in my mind. Oh, I remember what it is. One of the myths that I hear, and it's really funny, people think that they can get stuck in hypnosis.
Oh, I love that, yeah.
I guess it must have been in a movie. I guess it must have been in a movie or something. But it would be like getting stuck in sleep or getting stuck in normal conversation, because once again, I could get really technical about brain states, but I think that might just put people into hypnosis.
Maybe in a couple of shows we could go there.
It's just a natural brain state. Our brain waves fire alpha waves at various times during the day. If you're a creative person, if you're very artistic and you kind of go into that part of your mind, you're generally firing more alpha wave brain states. You are in those trances much more than other folks. You're in that part of your brain. So, no, you cannot get stuck in hypnosis. If somebody got stuck in hypnosis, I think it would be all over the news.
Yeah, it's funny because from the response I get from the clients after they've actually experienced hypnosis is usually that they would love to get stuck in hypnosis.
It's a really nice, peaceful...
It feels so good. In fact, there's actually we have a name for it, because a lot of people, when it comes time to end their hypnosis, they want to stay in that relaxing state, because it's just one of the characteristics of hypnosis is the most extraordinary state of relaxation that's really not found in any other process. So I know sometimes when I'm counting people out, they have what we call a disinclination to terminate the trance because it's such a great feeling. In fact, in hypnosis, your whole body goes into homeostasis, which is really just balance. So it really is one of the most wonderful just states of relaxation that I've ever experienced. What about you?
I can't even describe the person I used to be before I became a hypnotherapist and really started discovering hypnosis and using self-hypnosis on myself to the person that I am now, as far as stress relief, as far as being in that relaxing place. I tend to be really type A, and I didn't know how to really relax. I was a corporate person and a mom, and I had all these things on my plate, and I was go, 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 go all the time. And once I learned self-hypnosis, which is a way that we can teach our bodies to go into what's called the parasympathetic nervous system, meaning that part that's calm and relaxed, not the part that's in fight or flight, like, oh, God, I have to do that report, or I've got to cook dinner.
The deer in headlights.
Yeah, total... teaches your body. Your body goes into parasympathetic, so everything relaxes, and man, it's groovy.
Feels so good. Yeah, it does. It feels so good.
So I know that I talk about hypnosis all the time, and I run across folks, and they think, you know what, I may not even really be hypnotizable. I'm not quite sure if that's something that I could do. And once again, we keep saying it's a natural state, so pretty much everyone can do it. But we do have a fun little quiz that people can take. We're actually going to do it on the air now, whether you are hypnotizable or not. And one of the quizzes, we have one. Where did this one came from? Something else, a website or something, I think.
Yeah, it came from Robert Otto's website.
Oh,
and
Robert
I think
Otto's.
it's actually robertotto.com.
Okay, yeah, a wonderful hypnotist. And then I have another one, Are You Hypnotizable kind of quiz in the... I don't care for the title so much, but it's a great book. It's called The Complete Idiot's Guide to Hypnosis.
They have those guides for just about I just got a Complete Idiot's Guide for tennis, so I guess they've got them for everything. Yes. I didn't even know they had it for hypnosis. This is kind of going to be fun.
Yes, this is by Roberta Temis, Ph.D., and I know that anybody who is at least interested in hypnosis and would pick up this book would be brilliant anyway. So I don't like the title, but the book is good. Now, here it says, take this quiz. Some researchers say that certain personality characteristics help determine your hypnotizability. Those researchers would ask you to take this quiz to see if you're extremely hypnotizable, slightly hypnotizable, or somewhere in the middle. Other scientists, though, say that the answers to these questions make no difference. It's just the whites of your eyes that matter. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
And then there's me. I think with a good hypnotist, you'll do just fine, no matter what. Bravo. If you are with someone who knows what they're doing to help guide you there and teach you how to do it for yourself, then you can definitely get there.
Yeah, there's so many different techniques that something's going to work with everybody.
Yes.
And, I'm glad that you said a little bit about that, too, because really, 100% of people are hypnotizable. And I know that, 20% of people go into a really light trance where they're kind of sitting, maybe watching TV and the phone rings, and they just don't feel like getting up. It's whatever, That's kind of a nice light trance. And about 20% of people go there. Then 60% of the population goes into a nice medium trance, more of a lethargic kind of a trance, where it's more like the phone rings and it's that feeling where you just don't want to move. Mm-hmm. It's like, forget the phone. Who cares, That's about 60% of the population. And then the other 20, we call it somnambulism, but it's really just a nice, deep, hypnotic relaxation where you just... The phone rings, and it takes somebody else in the room to say, "Can't you hear that? The phone's ringing." And it's like, "Oh wow, I didn't even notice that." That's 20% of the population. So we've got 20% a nice light trance, 60% kind of a medium trance, and then the other 20% go into a really deep trance. So if we add that up, what does that add up to?
I think that was I don't have my math hat on, but I think that's 100%.
Hey, Olivia, you keeping track?
Okay,
100%. Okay,
100%,
cool.
Yes.
That adds up to 100%. So 100% of the population is hypnotizable. That's pretty cool. So
yes.
We're in the right profession.
We are in the right profession. The only time that people really, really have difficulty, and the trait is very difficult to learn, or the process is difficult to learn, are those people who may have brain damage in a certain area of their brain, or those folks who have a genetic disability like Down syndrome or something like that, where they cannot focus. But, on the other hand, guided imagery works well with those individuals.
Exactly.
So,
and you know what? Enough guided imagery and people pretty much go into a really nice relaxation anyway. So good. Cool.